They said it was over, that Jordan would never touch a sixth ring again. Too old, too tired, too human. The headlines were brutal, the critics louder than ever. But the real crisis wasn't the noise outside, it was the storm ripping the Chicago Bulls apart from the inside. This was the darkest hour of an empire, the moment when the greatest player alive faced the final, brutal chapter of his dynasty, the last dance. After Jordan captured his fifth title in '97, his fame blasted past basketball, past sports, past everything. Journalists weren't debating if he was the NBA's GOAT anymore. They were slotting him into the pantheon of global icons. He was bigger than movie stars, bigger than rock legends. A Paris newspaper even ran the headline, "Jordan is greater than the Pope." But while the world bowed at his feet, Jordan had zero interest in the praise. He had a crisis to fix. Years of title runs had shredded the Bulls physically. Age was catching the roster fast. And worst of all, the front office and coaching staff were at war. Phil Jackson and GM Jerry Krause had reached an unbreakable point, and Krause made it public. Even if the Bulls went 82-0, Phil was gone after the season. And the Bulls had another ticking bomb, Scottie Pippen. Making just $3 million while Jordan pulled $30 million, Pippen wasn't even a top 5 salary on the team. Frustrated, injured, and fed up, he chose to sit out the start of the season. On day 1 of training camp, Phil handed each player a playbook with a theme on the cover, The Last Dance. With Pippen out, Jordan carried the Bulls alone, dragging them through the first half of the season just to stay around, 500. While MJ was fighting on the court every night, Phil worked off the court to convince Pippen that holding out only hurt his teammates, not the front office. Pippen finally returned, and the Bulls surged, winning 9 of their next 12 games. But Krause struck again, shipping away a key rotation big man for draft picks, clearly signaling a desire to weaken the team for a future rebuild. Jordan was furious, powerless to stop it, and determined to answer the front office the only way he knew how, winning. Chicago finished 62-20, tied with Utah for the league's best record, but they'd lost both regular season matchups to the Jazz, fueling doubts everywhere. Jordan still put up 28.7 a night, snagged his 10th scoring title, and won MVP. In the playoffs, they swept the Nets, beat the Hornets in 5, and then ran into Larry Bird's Pacers, a brutal, physical team led by sharpshooter Reggie Miller. The series was a war. Reggie hit an iconic game winner, the series went to 7, and Jordan exhausted, legs fading, 25 shots just to make 9 dug into something deeper than talent. In the fourth quarter of Game 7, he powered through contact, attacked the rim, drew fouls, and dragged the Bulls to an 88-83 victory. Meanwhile, Utah had cruised through the West, fresh and confident, with home court advantage. Jordan told the media flatly, "No one's taking anything from us. We're still the champions." But Game 1 went to the Jazz in overtime. In Game 2, the Bulls tightened the defense. Rodman locked Malone into mid-range purgatory, and Malone missed a game-tying jumper. Chicago stole a win on the road. In Chicago, Game 3 became a massacre, 96-54, the largest blowout in finals history. They won Game 4, went up 3-1, but Malone exploded for 39 inches, Game 5, forcing a desperate Game 6. Then disaster hit. Pippen's back gave out. Jordan had to shoulder everything. Down 3 with 40 seconds left in the half, Stockton nailed a dagger, but Jordan instantly responded, slicing through the lane for a quick score. Then history. Jordan stripped Malone in the post. Phil refused to call timeout, and MJ dribbled the ball at the top of the key. A crossover, a slight nudge, Byron Russell sliding, and bang, the last shot. A 45-point masterpiece. 6 rings, 6 finals MVPs, 8 years, 6 titles. A dynasty's last breath delivered with absolute perfection. After the parade, one last roar from Chicago, everything collapsed overnight. Pippen left for Houston and a fat contract. Phil jumped on his motorcycle and rode into the sunset toward Los Angeles. And Jordan hung up the blood-red number 23. The Bulls fell apart instantly and wouldn't return to relevance until Derrick Rose bloomed a decade later. Jordan eventually bought into the Wizards and even returned at age 38. battered by knee pain but still dropped a 51-point game and averaged 22.95, .25.7. His numbers dipped from god tier to superstar. But he didn't care. He played all 82 games because fans had spent their savings to see him one last time. When he stepped back into Chicago's arena for the final time, the crowd stood and roared for 4 straight minutes. Jordan once said he just wanted the Bulls to be respected. He achieved far more than that. He became a legend whose story is etched permanently into the history of world sports. My take? The Last Dance wasn't about winning, it was about defying everything, trying to tear the dynasty apart. And Jordan proved that greatness isn't measured by youth or stats, but by resolve. Now tell me, what moment from Jordan's final season hit you the hardest? And do you think anyone in today's NBA could deliver a last shot on that kind of stage?